My brother asked me to watch his kids for one night. He said it was important. When I opened the fridge, everything had dates written on it. None of them were today. That's when the doorbell rang. I stood there with the fridge door open, staring at the milk carton. Someone had written Deck 18 in black marker across the label. The orange juice, Deck 19. The yogurt containers, the lunch meat, the leftover casserole in the glass dish, every single item had a date. Today was December 21st. The doorbell rang again. My wife Lisa had warned me about this, not specifically about dated food or mysterious visitors, but about my brother Danny in general. Something's off with him, she'd said 2 weeks ago, the way he looks at you now, like he's measuring something. I'd laughed it off then. Danny and I had always been close, or at least I thought we had been. He was 5 years younger, 43 to my 48. He'd done well for himself. Software sales, nice house in the suburbs, 2 kids. His wife Jennifer worked in HR at a pharmaceutical company. They seemed happy. The doorbell rang a third time, longer this time, insistent. I closed the fridge and walked through Danny's living room toward the front door. The house was too clean, I realized. Not just tidy, sterile, like a model home. The kids' toys were arranged in perfect bins along one wall. No scattered pieces, no half-finished projects. Even the couch cushions looked like they'd been positioned with a ruler. I could see a silhouette through the frosted glass panel beside the door. A woman, I thought. Medium height, professional posture. "Can I help you?" I called through the door. "Mr. Brennan? Robert Brennan?" Not Danny's name. Mine. "Who's asking?" "My name is Patricia Valdez. I'm with the school district's family liaison office. I'm here to check on the welfare of Daniel and Emma." The kids. Danny's kids. Currently upstairs in their rooms, where they'd been since I arrived an hour ago. I opened the door but kept the chain lock engaged. The woman on the porch was in her mid-30s, wearing a gray pantsuit and carrying a leather portfolio. She had the kind of face that was trained to look concerned, without actually committing to any real emotion. "The kids are fine," I said. "They're upstairs doing homework." "I understand you're watching them tonight?" "That's right. I'm their uncle." "And where are the children's parents?" "Danny, their father, had something important to handle. He asked me to stay with them." Patricia Valdez nodded slowly, like I'd just confirmed something. She pulled out a tablet from her portfolio. "Mr. Brennan, I'm going to need to come inside and verify the children's current condition and living environment. Do you have some kind of warrant or something?" "This is a wellness check, Mr. Brennan. We received a call from a concerned party about the children's safety. I'm sure you want to cooperate." That word, cooperate, it wasn't a request. It was a test. "Who called?" I asked. "That information is confidential, but I can tell you that the individual had specific concerns about supervision and safety protocols." I felt something cold slide down my spine. This wasn't random. This was planned. "Give me a second," I said. I closed the door and pulled out my phone. I called Danny. It went straight to voicemail. I called Jennifer. Same thing. The kids hadn't made a sound since I'd arrived. When Danny dropped me off, my car was in the shop, he'd insisted on picking me up. He'd said they'd already eaten dinner. They just needed to finish their homework and go to bed by 9. Simple babysitting job. A favor for my brother. I opened the door again, this time removing the chain. "Come in." Patricia Valdez stepped inside with the confidence of someone who'd done this many times before. She scanned the living room with quick, professional sweeps of her eyes. She made notes on her tablet without looking down at it. "Are the children upstairs?" she asked. "Yes, in their rooms. I'll need to speak with them." "Hang on." I walked to the foot of the stairs. "Daniel? Emma? Can you come down here for a minute?" There was a pause, then the sound of doors opening. 2 kids appeared at the top of the stairs. Daniel was 9, thin and serious-looking with Danny's dark hair. Emma was 7, wearing pink pajamas with cats on them. They looked down at me and then at Patricia Valdez, and their faces went completely neutral. That's when I knew for certain something was wrong. Kids that age don't look at strangers with neutral faces. They look curious or shy or suspicious. These two looked like they'd been coached. "Hi, Daniel. Hi, Emma," Patricia said, her voice shifting into a warmer register. "My name is Ms. Valdez. I work with your school. I just need to ask you a few questions, okay?" They came down the stairs in single file, holding the railing. They sat on the couch exactly one cushion apart. "Daniel, can you tell me how you're feeling tonight?" Patricia asked. "I'm fine," he said. His voice was flat, rehearsed. "And Emma?" "Fine." "Who's here with you tonight?" "Uncle Rob," Daniel said. "And how do you feel about Uncle Rob being here?" There it was, the question that mattered. Daniel looked at Emma. Emma looked at her hands. "We're okay," Daniel finally said. Patricia made a note. "Daniel, I want you to know that you can tell me anything. If you don't feel safe, or if something has happened that made you uncomfortable, you can tell me. Nothing bad will happen to you." "We're okay," Daniel repeated. Patricia turned to me. "Mr. Brennan, I'm going to need to inspect the children's rooms and the primary living areas." "Why?" "Standard protocol for wellness checks." She was already moving toward the stairs. I followed her, feeling like I was in a play where everyone else had the script except me. She checked Daniel's room first. Bed made, desk organized, nothing on the floor. She took photos with her tablet. Then Emma's room, same thing, sterile, perfect, wrong. Back downstairs, she inspected the kitchen. That's when she opened the fridge. "Mr. Brennan, can you explain why all the food in this refrigerator has dates written on it?" "I just noticed that myself. I don't know." "You don't know?" "I've been here an hour. My brother didn't mention it." She photographed the fridge contents. "Are you aware of any dietary restrictions or food safety concerns regarding these children?" "No." "Has there been any history of neglect or improper food handling in this household?" "Not that I know of." "Look, Danny and Jennifer are good parents. I don't know what this is about." Patricia closed the fridge. She looked at me with an expression I couldn't read. "Mr. Brennan, I appreciate your cooperation tonight. I'm going to file my report with the district. Someone may follow up with you or with Mr. and Mrs. Brennan in the coming days." "That's it?" "For now." She walked to the front door. "Please tell the children's parents to expect a call." She left. I stood in the kitchen, listening to her car pull away. The kids were still sitting on the couch, motionless, waiting. "You guys okay?" I asked. "We're supposed to go to bed at 9, Daniel said. I checked my watch. It was 8:45. "Right. Okay, do you need anything before bed? Water? Snack?" "No, thank you," they said in unison. They went upstairs without another word. I heard their doors close. I tried calling Danny again. Voicemail. I tried Jennifer. Voicemail. I sat on the couch where the kids had been sitting. The house was too quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming in the kitchen. I could hear my own breathing. I pulled out my phone and called Lisa. "How's it going?" she asked. "Something weird just happened." I told her about Patricia Valdez, about the fridge, about the kids' rehearsed responses. Lisa was quiet for a long moment. "Rob," she said finally, "get out of that house." "What?" "Right now. Tell Danny you had an emergency. Leave." "I can't leave the kids alone." "Then call Danny and tell him to come home, but you need to get out of there. This is a setup." "A setup for what?" "I don't know. But that woman didn't show up randomly. Someone called her. Someone who knew you'd be there tonight. Someone who wanted a witness to see you alone with those kids in a house full of dated food and whatever else they've arranged." My stomach went cold. "You think Danny?" "I think you need to leave. Now." I stood up. My legs felt strange, like they weren't quite connected to my body. I walked to the foot of the stairs. "Daniel? Emma? I need to make a phone call. I'll be right outside on the porch, okay?" No response. I stepped outside into the December cold. The neighborhood was quiet. Christmas lights on a few houses, a dog barking somewhere in the distance. I called Danny again. This time it rang twice before going to voicemail. He'd declined the call. I was about to call Lisa back when I saw headlights coming down the street. A car slowed in front of Danny's house. Not Danny's car, a dark sedan I didn't recognize. It stopped at the curb. The driver's side door opened. A man got out. Late 50s, heavy build, wearing a jacket and tie. He walked up the driveway toward me with the same professional confidence Patricia Valdez had shown. "Robert Brennan," he called out. "Yeah. I'm Detective Frank Morrow, County Sheriff's Office. I need to ask you a few questions about tonight." Detective Morrow had a face like cracked leather and eyes that had seen too much. He stood at the base of Danny's porch steps, hands in his jacket pockets, looking up at me with an expression of studied patience. "I'm going to need you to step down here, Mr. Brennan," he said. "Away from the door. The kids are inside. I'm watching them." "I understand. This won't take long." I came down the steps. The cold bit through my sweater. I'd left my coat inside. "You want to tell me what happened here tonight?" Morrow asked. "What's there to tell? I'm babysitting my brother's kids." "That's it? Nothing unusual?" A woman from the school district showed up. Patricia Valdez. She asked some questions and left. "Did she say why she was here?" "Wellness check. Someone called in a concern." Morrow nodded. "And you've been here since when?" "About 7:30. Danny picked me up, dropped me off, said he'd be back later tonight." "Where did your brother go?" "He didn't say. Said it was important." "Important enough to leave his kids with someone on short notice." "I'm not someone. I'm his brother." "Right." Morrow pulled out a small notebook. "When was the last time you watched these kids, Mr. Brennan?" I had to think. "Maybe 6 months ago? We used to do it more often, but Danny's been busy lately." "And tonight, when you arrived, did you notice anything unusual about the house, the children?" I thought about the dated food, the sterile rooms, the rehearsed responses. The fridge had dates written on everything. Old dates. "Did you ask your brother about that?" "I didn't notice until after he left." "Have you been in contact with him since he dropped you off?" "I've tried calling. He's not answering." Morrow made a note. "Mr. Brennan, I'm going to be straight with you. We received information tonight suggesting that there might be concerns about child welfare at this address. I'm here to follow up on that." "From who?" "Can't say." "Is this about me or about Danny?" "Why would it be about you?" "You're asking me questions like I did something wrong." "Did you?" "No." Morrow put his notebook away. "Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go inside and talk to those kids. You're going to wait out here. When I'm done, we'll talk again." "I don't think you can just—" "I can. And I am." He moved past me up the steps. "Stay here." He went inside. The door closed behind him. I stood in Danny's driveway, shaking from cold and something else. Lisa had been right. This was a setup. But for what? What could Danny possibly gain from making me look bad in front of child services and the police? My phone buzzed. A text from Danny. "Sorry, had to turn phone off for meeting. Everything okay?" I called him immediately. It rang once, then went to voicemail again. I texted back, "Police are here. What the hell is going on?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then nothing. Morrow was inside for 20 minutes. When he came back out, his expression hadn't changed. "The kids seem fine," he said. "Healthy, clean, no signs of distress." "Of course they're fine." "They said you were nice to them. Didn't do anything to make them uncomfortable." "Why would I?" "That's what I'm trying to figure out, Mr. Brennan." He pulled out a card and handed it to me. "If your brother contacts you, have him call me. And do me a favor, don't leave town for the next few days." "Am I being charged with something?" "Not at this time, but there's an investigation, and you're part of it." "Investigation into what?" "That's all I can tell you right now." He walked back to his car, got in, and drove away. I went back inside. The kids were upstairs again, doors closed. The house felt different now, like it was watching me. I sat on the couch and tried to piece together what was happening. Someone had called Patricia Valdez. Someone had called the police. Someone had told them to come tonight, specifically when I would be here alone with the kids. The dated food, the perfect rooms, it was all staged. Evidence of something, though I couldn't figure out what. My phone rang. Danny. "What's going on?" he asked. His voice was tight, stressed. "You tell me. I've had social services and a detective here in the last hour." "Detective? Jesus. I'm sorry, Rob. I didn't think what? What is this?" "Look, there's been some issues with Jennifer. She's been saying things." "What kind of things?" "About me. About how I treat the kids. It's all bullshit, but she's got people believing her. Her therapist, some of the teachers. I think she's trying to build a case." "A case for what? Divorce?" "Custody. She wants full custody, and she wants to make sure I look like a danger." "What does that have to do with me?" Danny was quiet for a moment. "She's been saying that my whole family is unstable, that the kids aren't safe around any of us. I thought if you watched them tonight and everything went fine, I could show that we're normal, that there's no problem." "So, you set me up to be evaluated?" "No. I mean, not intentionally. I didn't know she'd call anyone, I swear." "Where are you right now?" "At a hotel. She kicked me out last week. I've been staying at the Marriott by the highway." "And where's Jennifer?" "At her sister's place. She took some personal days from work." I rubbed my eyes. "Danny, this is insane. If you two are having problems, you need to deal with it. Don't drag me into your mess." "I know. I'm sorry. Can you stay with the kids until I get back? I'm 20 minutes away." "No. I'm calling Lisa to pick me up. You need to come home now." "Please, Rob. Just 20 more minutes. If I leave this meeting early, it'll look bad." "What meeting?" "With my lawyer. At 9 o'clock at night." It was the only time he could do. "Please, I'll explain everything when I get there." I wanted to say no. I wanted to walk out and never look back. But they were Danny's kids, and whatever was happening between him and Jennifer, those kids didn't deserve to be alone. 20 minutes, I said. Then I'm gone. "Thank you. I owe you." He hung up. I called Lisa. "Can you pick me up from Danny's in about half an hour? What happened with the police? I'll tell you when I see you." I went to the kitchen and opened the fridge again. All those dates. Someone had done this deliberately. But why date everything from 2 or 3 days ago? What did that prove? Unless it was meant to suggest neglect. Old food, nobody shopping, kids eating expired meals. But the food wasn't expired. The milk was fine. The lunch meat was fresh. Someone had just written old dates on everything to make it look bad. I pulled out my phone and took photos of every item in the fridge. Then I checked the pantry. Same thing. Crackers labeled Deck 17. Cereal labeled Deck 16. All of it perfectly fine, just mislabeled. I heard a noise upstairs. Footsteps. A door opening. "Uncle Rob?" Emma's voice, small and uncertain. I went to the foot of the stairs. "Yeah? Can I have some water?" "Sure, honey, come on down." She came down slowly, holding the railing with both hands. In the kitchen, I filled a plastic cup with water and handed it to her. She drank half of it and set it on the counter. "Ms. Valdez was nice," she said. "Yeah? She wanted to make sure we were okay." "Are you okay?" Emma looked at me with those big 7-year-old eyes. "Mommy says we have to be careful." "Careful about what?" "About who we talk to, about what we say." "Did your mom tell you to say that to Ms. Valdez?" Emma didn't answer. She picked up her water cup and took another sip. "Emma, did someone tell you what to say tonight?" "I'm not supposed to talk about it." "Who told you that?" Mommy said that if anyone asks questions, we just say we're fine and we're not supposed to talk about private family things. I crouched down to her level. Emma, has anyone hurt you? Has anyone made you feel scared or uncomfortable? No. Not your dad? Not me? Not anyone? No, everyone's nice. But Mommy and Daddy argue a lot now. Mommy cries sometimes. I'm sorry, honey. Is Daddy coming home soon? Yeah, he'll be here in a few minutes. Okay. She finished her water and put the cup in the sink. I'm going back to bed now. Good night, Emma. Good night, Uncle Rob. She went back upstairs. I heard her door close. I stood in Danny's kitchen, surrounded by mislabeled food and perfect surfaces, and felt the first real pulse of anger. Jennifer was coaching those kids. She was building a narrative. And somehow, I'd been written into it as a character, maybe as evidence of family dysfunction, maybe as something worse. My phone buzzed. Lisa. Leaving now, be there in 25. I texted back. Thanks. Danny's car pulled into the driveway 18 minutes later. He came in through the garage, looking exhausted. He'd lost weight since I'd seen him last. His shirt was wrinkled. Thanks for staying, he said. We need to talk. I know. Let me check on the kids first. He went upstairs. I heard him open both bedroom doors, heard him say something soft to each child. He came back down and collapsed on the couch. They're asleep, he said. Danny, what the hell is going on? I told you. Jennifer's building a case. She's got it in her head that I'm a bad father, that I'm unstable or dangerous or something. She's been documenting everything, taking photos, writing down conversations. Her lawyer told her to gather evidence. Evidence of what? Anything. Everything. She's trying to paint a picture of me as neglectful or abusive. She got the school involved, told them she had concerns. That's why Valdez showed up. And the food? The dates? That was her. She did it this afternoon before she left for her sister's. She wanted it to look like I wasn't taking care of the house, like the kids were eating old food. That's insane. I know. But it works. People believe that kind of thing, especially from mothers, especially in custody battles. Why didn't you warn me? Because I didn't think she'd actually call anyone tonight. I thought I had a few more days before things got serious. I thought if you watched the kids and everything was fine, I could use that as proof that our family is normal. Your family is not normal, Danny. This is not normal. He looked at me with red-rimmed eyes. I know. Outside, I heard Lisa's car pull up. That's my ride, I said. Rob, don't call me for a while. Whatever you two are doing, leave me out of it. I grabbed my coat and went outside. Lisa was waiting in our SUV, engine running. I got in and slammed the door harder than I meant to. That bad? She asked. Worse. She pulled away from the curb. I watched Danny's house disappear in the side mirror, all those Christmas lights glowing in the dark like everything was fine. It was 3 days before I heard from Danny again. 3 days of silence that felt deliberate, like he was waiting for something. When his name finally showed up on my phone, I almost didn't answer. Rob, I need to talk to you, he said without preamble. I told you. Someone filed a complaint with the state about that night, about you. The world tilted slightly. What? Child Protective Services. They got a report that said you made the kids uncomfortable, that there were concerns about your behavior. That's insane. I barely talked to those kids. I know, but it's filed. They're investigating. Investigating me? Both of us. But mostly you, since you were the one alone with them. I pulled over to the side of the road. I was driving back from the hardware store, just a normal Saturday morning errand. Now the day felt hollow. Who filed it? I asked. It's anonymous, but we both know who it was. Jennifer. Or someone she got to do it. What happens now? They'll probably want to interview you, maybe do a home visit. A home visit? Danny, I don't even have kids. Doesn't matter, they have to investigate any report. This is insane. I know, My lawyer says we can fight it, but it takes time. Your lawyer? Why do I need to be part of your lawyer's plan? Because we're family, and Jennifer is trying to destroy that. She's not just coming after me. She's coming after anyone who might support me. That includes you. I sat in my car on the side of the road, watching other people drive past on their normal Saturday mornings, and felt something fundamental shift. This wasn't just Danny's problem anymore. Someone had put my name in a file somewhere, had labeled me as a potential threat to children. I need to go, I said. Rob, wait. I hung up. When I got home, Lisa was in the kitchen making lunch. She took one look at my face and put down the knife. What happened? I told her. She sat down at the kitchen table. We need a lawyer. For what? I didn't do anything. That doesn't matter. Someone made an accusation. That's enough. This is insane. Yes, it is, but it's happening, and we need to treat it seriously. She was right. I knew she was right, but part of me still couldn't believe it. I'd watched my brother's kids for 2 hours, and now I was under investigation. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the evening in my head. Had I said something wrong? Done something that could be misinterpreted? I'd barely interacted with those kids. They'd been upstairs most of the time. Around 2 a.m, I got up and went to my office. I pulled out a legal pad and started writing down everything I could remember. Every detail, every conversation. Who arrived, when, what they said, what I said. I filled 3 pages with notes. Lisa found me there at dawn. Come to bed, she said. I can't. I need to make sure I remember everything correctly. You will, but you need sleep. I followed her back to bed but didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling and thought about how quickly normal life could invert itself. How one evening could become a weapon. On Monday, I got a call from an investigator with Child Protective Services. Her name was Ann Kimura, and she wanted to schedule an interview. Could I come to their office on Wednesday morning? I told her I'd be there. What should I bring? I asked. Just yourself. We'll have questions about the evening of December 21st. Will my brother be there? This is a separate interview, Mr. Brennan. We'll be speaking with your brother as well, but not at the same time. She hung up. I called the lawyer Lisa had found. His name was Mitchell Price, and he specialized in family defense cases. He could meet with me Tuesday afternoon to prepare. Don't say anything to anyone about this case until we talk, he said. Not your brother, not friends, no one. Okay. And Mr. Brennan? This is serious. Even if the allegations are false, the process itself can be damaging. We need to handle this correctly. I hung up and sat at my desk. Through the window, I could see our neighbor putting up more Christmas decorations. Life continuing on like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. I didn't call Danny back. I didn't text him. I let his calls go to voicemail. Lisa fielded calls from his number on the house line and told him I wasn't available. 3 days before Danny's custody hearing, I did something I'd been avoiding. I looked up Jennifer's social media profiles again, but this time I went deeper. I created a fake account. Nothing sophisticated, just a generic name and a stock photo, and used it to see her private posts. What I found was illuminating. Jennifer's public profile was exactly what you'd expect. Happy family photos from before the separation, inspirational quotes about motherhood, posts about her kids' achievements, the image of a devoted mother going through a difficult time. Her private posts, the ones only visible to friends, told a different story. There were complaints about Danny, vague references to concerning behavior and protecting my babies, posts about lawyer meetings and court dates. But what struck me most were the comments from her friends, a chorus of support, encouragement, validation. You're doing the right thing. Those poor kids. Stay strong, Mama. Document everything. She'd built an echo chamber, a community of people who believed her story without question. And she was feeding that community carefully, giving them just enough information to keep them engaged, but not so much that they could verify anything. It was masterful, and it was working. I screenshotted everything I could access. Not for court. These wouldn't be admissible anyway, but for my own understanding. To see the architecture of what she'd built. There was one post that stopped me cold. From 2 weeks ago, right after the CPS investigation was closed. Small victory today. The investigation found no evidence of immediate harm, but I know what I know. I know what my kids need. This fight isn't over. Sometimes the system fails children, and when it does, mothers have to step up. That's what I'm doing. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. That phrase echoed in my mind, because that's exactly what I'd been thinking too. Whatever it takes to clear my name. Whatever it takes to stop her. We were more alike than I wanted to admit. I printed out the screenshots and put them in my folder with everything else. Then I called Danny. "The hearing is in 3 days," I said. "Are you ready?" "No. My lawyer says we're prepared, but I don't feel prepared. I feel like I'm walking into an ambush." "You probably are. Jennifer's been building this case for months." "That's encouraging." "I'm not trying to encourage you. I'm trying to prepare you. She's going to paint a picture in that hearing, and that picture is going to be ugly. You need to be ready for it." "What picture?" "Unstable father, problematic family, kids at risk." She's going to use everything. The CPS investigation, the neighbor complaints, the school concerns. She's going to make it look like giving you custody would be dangerous. "My lawyer says we can counter all of that." "Can you?" Danny was quiet. "I don't know. Jennifer's been very careful. She hasn't accused me of anything specific. Just created this atmosphere of concern. How do you counter an atmosphere? With facts, with evidence, with testimony from people who actually know you. I don't have many of those left. She's poisoned most of our mutual friends. Then use people outside that circle, your coworkers, your boss, people who can testify to your character. My lawyer has a list. But Rob, I'm scared. What if the judge believes her? What if I lose custody? Then we appeal. Then we fight harder. Then we do whatever it takes." I heard him take a breath. "Whatever it takes. That sounds like you're planning something." "I'm planning to support my brother." "No, you're planning something else. I can hear it in your voice. What are you going to do?" "I don't know yet." "That's not reassuring." "It's the truth." We hung up, and I sat there staring at my folder of evidence. All these documents, all these screenshots, all this proof of Jennifer's campaign. None of it mattered if the judge didn't see it. And Danny's lawyer had made it clear. Bringing me into the hearing as a witness would be risky. It would just remind everyone of the CPS investigation. Better to keep me out of it. So I was supposed to sit on the sidelines while my brother fought for his kids. While Jennifer's narrative went unopposed. While the system decided who deserved what based on incomplete information. That night, Lisa found me in the office again. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Research." "For what?" "For Danny's hearing." "You're not involved in Danny's hearing." "I'm involved in everything that led to it." She sat down. "Rob, you need to let this go. You need to let Danny's lawyer handle the custody case and focus on moving forward with your own life." My own life, right. The life where half my neighbors think I'm dangerous? That'll pass. When? When everyone forgets? When enough time goes by that people stop associating my name with child welfare investigations? Yes, exactly that. Time is the only thing that'll fix this. I don't have time. Every day that passes, Jennifer's narrative gets more entrenched. So what's your alternative? Launch a counterattack? Destroy her reputation the way she destroyed yours? Would that be wrong? Yes. It would make you just like her. Maybe that's what it takes. Lisa stood up. I'm going to bed. When you're done becoming someone I don't recognize, come find me. Maybe we can talk about who you used to be? She left. I sat there alone, her words echoing in my head. Someone she didn't recognize. Was that true? Had I changed that much? I looked in the mirror on my office wall. Same face, same eyes. But something was different. Something harder. Something that had been soft before and now had edges. Maybe Lisa was right. Maybe I was becoming someone else. The question was whether that was survival or surrender. 2 days before the hearing, I got a call from an unknown number. Mr. Brennan, this is Detective Morrow. We met at your brother's house. I remember. I wanted to follow up with you about that evening. Do you have time to answer a few more questions? I thought this was settled. CPS closed the investigation. This isn't about CPS. This is about another matter that's come to my attention. Can we meet? What matter? I'd prefer to discuss it in person. Are you available this afternoon? Something cold slid down my spine. Am I being accused of something? No one's being accused of anything. Yet. I just need to clarify some details. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop, not the one in Danny's neighborhood, somewhere more neutral. I called Mitchell Price immediately. Don't go alone, he said. I'll meet you there. Is this serious? Anytime a detective wants to talk to you, it's serious. Don't say anything until I get there. Mitchell arrived 10 minutes before Morrow. We sat in a corner booth, and he prepped me quickly. Answer only what he asks. Don't volunteer information. Don't explain or justify. Just answer. What do you think this is about? I don't know, but my guess is Jennifer's made another complaint, or someone has. When Morrow arrived, he looked tired. He ordered coffee and sat down across from us, pulling out the same notebook he'd used before. Thanks for meeting, he said. I'll keep this brief. What's this about? Mitchell asked. We received a report that Mr. Brennan has been observed in the vicinity of his brother's residence on multiple occasions, specifically that he's been seen watching the house and following Mrs. Brennan. My stomach dropped. That's not true. Mitchell put his hand on my arm. Let me handle this. He turned to Morrow. What evidence supports this allegation? A neighbor reported seeing Mr. Brennan's vehicle in the area several times over the past 2 weeks, different times of day. The neighbor recognized him from that night in December. Being in a public area isn't a crime, Mitchell said. No, but given the circumstances, the CPS investigation, the custody battle, it raises concerns. Concerns about what? About Mr. Brennan's intentions, about whether he's engaging in harassment or stalking behavior. Has Mrs. Brennan filed a complaint? Not officially, but she's aware of the reports and has expressed concern for her safety. I wanted to laugh. Jennifer was now afraid of me. The narrative had evolved. First I was a danger to children, now I was a potential stalker. Detective, Mitchell said, my client has every right to drive on public roads. If he's been in his brother's neighborhood, it's likely because he's been meeting with his brother. There's nothing sinister about that. Has he been meeting with his brother? Mitchell looked at me. I shook my head slightly. That's what I thought, Morrow said. Look, I'm not here to arrest anyone. I'm here to deliver a message. Stay away from Mrs. Brennan. Stay away from that neighborhood. Don't give anyone a reason to think you're harassing or intimidating anyone. If you do, there will be consequences. Is that a threat? Mitchell asked. It's a warning, and it's friendly. The custody hearing is in 2 days. If something happens between now and then, if Mrs. Brennan files a formal complaint, it'll look very bad for Mr. Brennan and for his brother. I'm trying to prevent that. My client appreciates the warning, Mitchell said, and he'll comply with your request. Morrow stood up. Good. Stay out of trouble, Mr. Brennan. This situation is complicated enough already. He left. Mitchell turned to me. Tell me the truth. Have you been following Jennifer? I've been in the neighborhood a few times. Why? To understand what she's doing, to see who she's talking to document her campaign. Rob, that's stalking. Do you understand that? Legally, What you've been doing could be defined as stalking. I wasn't threatening her. I wasn't even approaching her. Doesn't matter. Repeated unwanted observation constitutes stalking in this state. If Jennifer files a restraining order, you could be arrested. And that would destroy any hope Danny has in the custody hearing. So I'm supposed to just let her win? You're supposed to stay within the law. That's literally the only thing you have to do right now. He left, and I sat there alone in the coffee shop, feeling the walls close in. Jennifer had played it perfectly again. She'd positioned me as the threat, made herself the victim, and now I couldn't even go near Danny's neighborhood without risking arrest. Whatever moves I'd been planning, whatever counter-campaign I'd been imagining, it was over before it started. She'd boxed me in completely. That night, I told Lisa about the meeting with Morrow. "Good," she said. "Good?" "Yes. Good. Now maybe you'll stop this obsessive behavior and focus on living your life." "She's destroying my life." "No, you're letting her. There's a difference." "How can you say that?" "Because it's true. Jennifer launched an attack. You were investigated and cleared. That should have been the end of it. But you can't let it go. You keep picking at it, making it worse, giving her ammunition to use against you. I'm trying to defend myself. You're trying to prove something that doesn't need proving. You were cleared. It's over. The only person keeping this alive is you." I wanted to argue, but I couldn't find the words, because part of me knew she was right. I'd become obsessed. The investigation was closed, but I couldn't let it go. I kept pushing, kept digging, kept trying to expose Jennifer's methods, and all it had done was make me look worse. "What do I do?" I asked. "You stop. You stay away from Jennifer, away from Danny's mess, and you focus on us, on our life, on moving forward." "And Danny?" "Danny has a lawyer. He'll handle his custody case. You don't need to fight his battles." "He's my brother." "And I'm your wife. Which relationship matters more?" I didn't answer. The custody hearing was on Thursday morning. I wasn't allowed to attend. Neither was Lisa. Only Danny, Jennifer, their lawyers, and whoever they'd called as witnesses. I spent the day at home, trying to work, trying to focus on anything else. But my mind kept drifting to that courtroom, imagining what was being said, what narrative was being presented. Danny called me at 3 o'clock. "It's over," he said. His voice was hollow. "What happened?" "Temporary sole custody to Jennifer. I get supervised visitation twice a week, 3 hours each time, until the final hearing in 6 months." "Jesus, Danny." Her lawyer brought up the CPS investigation, the school reports, the neighbor concerns. They painted a picture of an unstable family environment. The judge bought it. "What did your lawyer say?" "He tried, he really did. But we didn't have enough to counter it. No evidence of Jennifer's manipulation, just my word that it was happening. And my word doesn't carry much weight right now. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. But it was, at least partly. My presence in the case, the investigation, the stalking reports, had probably made things worse for Danny. I'd become a liability instead of support." "What happens now?" I asked. "I fight. I document everything. I show up for every visitation. I do everything perfectly for 6 months, and then we go back to court and try again." "And Jennifer?" "She won, at least for now." After we hung up, I sat in my office with my folder of evidence. All these screenshots, all these documents, all this proof that meant nothing. Jennifer had won. She'd used the system perfectly. She'd manipulated every lever. She'd controlled every narrative. And now she had exactly what she wanted. Full custody of her kids and her ex-husband, reduced to a supervised visitor twice a week. I should have felt anger, rage, a burning need for revenge. Instead, I felt empty. Lisa was right. I'd let this consume me. I'd become obsessed with winning a fight that wasn't even mine. And in the process, I'd lost myself. That night, I took the folder from my office and put it in a drawer. I didn't throw it away. I couldn't bring myself to do that. But I put it away. out of sight. I needed to move on, needed to rebuild my life, needed to focus on my marriage and my work, and all the normal things I'd neglected while chasing ghosts. But even as I thought that, even as I tried to let it go, I felt something burning in my chest, some small ember that wouldn't go out. Jennifer had won. For now. But 6 months was a long time. A lot could change in 6 months. And I was patient. I could wait.